This is a creature whose mere presence is enough to turn an entire Cretaceous ecosystem into a living nightmare. It is Spinosaurus, a species unlike any predator you have ever known, because it does not only dominate the land, but also steps into the world of water. A body more than 56 feet long glides silently through ancient rivers, making no sound, leaving no trace until it is too late. But there is a truth about this creature, considered the most powerful monster of ancient rivers, that most people have never thought about. Have you ever wondered what would happen if the most terrifying predator was not actually the most dangerous one? In the murky water deep below, there are creatures that do not need to be faster than Spinosaurus. On land, there are predators that do not need to be larger than Spinosaurus, only to be in the right environment. And sometimes even the prey can become the very thing that leads to the complete destruction of this dinosaur. Is Spinosaurus truly the ultimate monster, or just a fortunate survivor in a world far more brutal than you imagine? What you're about to see is not a story of power, but a story about the limits of power. A small mistake, a wrong step, can completely reverse the roles of predator and prey. So if you were standing right there, beside an ancient river, would you recognize the danger before it appears? Now step with us into a world where every familiar rule collapses. A place where even a creature as feared as Spinosaurus is never truly safe. Forget the image of today's arid deserts of North Africa. Go back more than 95 million years. Where you are standing was once a completely different world. It was a world of water, with massive rivers cutting across the continent. Their surfaces dark, deep, and nearly impossible to see the bottom. There were also vast swamps stretching to the horizon. No place here was truly safe. Every step, every small movement could be detected. Not by a single predator, but by an entire ecosystem constantly in a state of hunting. This is where Spinosaurus existed, a creature that at first glance appears to be the absolute ruler. The body of Spinosaurus measured 52 to 59 feet in length. Its skull was elongated like a crocodile's, filled with sharp teeth. A massive sail rose upright along its back, but what made it different was not only its size, but the way it moved. Spinosaurus did not hunt like other dinosaurs. It did not need to run or chase, it simply stepped into the water. The heavy body of Spinosaurus did not sink helplessly. Its dense bones allowed it to control buoyancy, and its long tail functioned like a massive paddle. Spinosaurus moved slowly beneath the surface, leaving no sign to warn its prey. If you stood on the shore, you would see nothing, only still water. But beneath it, something was approaching. This was the greatest advantage of Spinosaurus, the ability to enter an environment that most dinosaurs could not control. But that same advantage also placed this creature in danger, because once it entered the water, it was no longer the only predator. Beneath the thick mud, other creatures lay hidden, ones that did not need to move much, did not need to display strength, only to wait. In the ancient world, water was not only a source of life, but also a place where all rules were reversed. You could not see clearly, could not hear accurately, and could not react fast enough. Just a moment of distraction, and everything could end. Spinosaurus may be a terrifying predator, but it never hunts in a fair environment. Every time it steps into the water, it accepts risk, because this place holds true nightmares for it. Sarcosuchus is a creature that you can hardly see, and that is exactly what makes it a great fear for many species in the ancient world. Imagine that the water in front of you is still, with almost no ripples large enough to draw attention. There is no sound, no warning sign, and nothing to indicate that danger is present just beneath the surface. But somewhere beneath that murky water, a massive creature lies still, completely motionless. Sarcosuchus does not hunt in the way commonly seen in other predators. It does not chase, does not apply pressure, and does not cause panic through its presence. The hunting strategy of Sarcosuchus is waiting, and its patience is its most dangerous weapon. The body of Sarcosuchus, more than 33 feet long, remains submerged, revealing only its eyes and nostrils at the surface, just enough to observe without being detected. If you were standing only a few feet away, you might still not realize that you are right above a massive predator. This is not because you are careless, but because Sarcosuchus is built to become invisible within its own environment. Unlike Spinosaurus, a creature that moves actively and constantly searches for prey, Sarcosuchus does not need to do so. It lets prey come to it, and a single moment of mistake is enough to end everything. That moment happens so fast it is almost impossible to perceive. A sudden explosion from beneath the water, Sarcosuchus makes a single movement, but one that carries the full mass and power of its enormous body. The water is torn apart, the space is shattered, and before the prey can react, the jaws of Sarcosuchus have already closed. This is not an ordinary bite. It is a crushing force strong enough to break bones, rendering even a large creature unable to resist within just a few seconds. Even large dinosaurs cannot escape if they are dragged into deep water by Sarcosuchus. And this is what makes it the most dangerous opponent in the environment of Spinosaurus. These two creatures not only existed in the same era, but also shared the same living space, the same river, the same ecosystem, and the same food sources. Yet their approaches to hunting are completely different, and that difference creates a tense balance. Spinosaurus moves, searches, and actively attacks when an opportunity appears. Sarcosuchus hides, waits, and acts only when success is certain. In shallow water, Spinosaurus can maintain an advantage thanks to its greater mobility. But when it enters deeper water where visibility is limited and reactions are slowed, that advantage begins to disappear. Imagine the moment Spinosaurus steps into the water to hunt. It is not rushing, but observing and evaluating its surroundings, yet it cannot see through the thick mud below. Spinosaurus cannot know that perhaps only a few feet away, another predator is watching its every movement. Just one wrong step, an unstable stance, or a brief moment of distraction while attacking prey, and everything can be reversed instantly. The surface of the water erupts in an instant, and from below, Sarcosuchus surges upward with all its power. There is no time for Spinosaurus to react, no chance to evade, and no way to resist the pulling force from beneath the water. If the bite targets its leg, Spinosaurus will lose balance almost immediately. If it is dragged deeper, its large body becomes a disadvantage rather than an advantage. Every struggling movement only drains energy, while Sarcosuchus holds it firmly with overwhelming strength within its own environment. This is no longer an even confrontation, but a situation where the environment has already decided the outcome before it even begins. The most terrifying part is not which creature is stronger, but that the attack happens without any warning. Just a brief moment of chaos, and then everything returns to silence as if nothing ever happened. The water becomes still again. The light reflects as before, and the river continues to flow without leaving any trace of the hunt that has just taken place. Spinosaurus may be one of the most formidable predators ever to exist, but in deep water, it is not the one in control. It is merely part of an ecosystem where any creature can become prey under the wrong conditions. According to hypotheses, Sarcosuchus may take only 5 to 15 seconds to kill Spinosaurus if it lands a fatal bite and manages to drag the prey into deep water. In shallow water environments, Sarcosuchus may take from 30 seconds to several minutes to kill Spinosaurus. If fortunate, Spinosaurus may escape. On land, however, Spinosaurus would have the advantage. It would find it much easier to escape and might even have a chance to defeat Sarcosuchus. If the water is where Sarcosuchus controls everything, then the moment it steps onto land, the entire game changes. In this environment, there is another species that Spinosaurus must beware of. Once away from the water, everything changes. There is no longer mud to obscure vision, nor a familiar environment that allows Spinosaurus to control every movement. Most importantly, Spinosaurus no longer has the advantage. It was not built to dominate the land. Its body is long, heavy, and unbalanced compared to predators specialized for running. Its hind legs are not agile enough to pivot quickly in unexpected situations. Every movement of Spinosaurus consumes more energy than that of other creatures of similar size. And in the terrestrial world, speed and agility are everything. In this environment, there is another predator waiting for Spinosaurus. One that does not need to adapt to water, does not need to share its environment because this entire territory already belongs to it. It is Carcharodontosaurus, one of the most fearsome carnivorous dinosaurs ever to exist. It possesses a body more than 39 feet long, perfectly designed for chasing and taking down prey on land. Its skull is massive, with long, thin teeth as sharp as blades. Not built for crushing, but for slicing deep, causing bleeding and rapidly weakening its prey. This is not a style of hunting that ends with a single bite, but one that causes the victim to die slowly. If Spinosaurus moves too far away from the water, it is stepping into a battle it cannot control. Imagine the moment when Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus face each other. There is no element of surprise from beneath the water, no environmental cover, only distance and reaction time remain. Carcharodontosaurus does not charge immediately. It observes and evaluates, knowing that a single correct opportunity is enough. Spinosaurus tries to keep its distance, but its body does not allow sustained speed. Each step backward is slower than its opponent, and then that moment appears. A rapid lunge from the flank, not aimed at the head or neck, but at the most vulnerable points. The blade-like teeth of Carcharodontosaurus slice through the thick flesh of Spinosaurus, not crushing, but enough to create a deep wound and start bleeding. Spinosaurus reacts. It turns its body, attempting to use its size to overpower, but every turn comes with a delay. And Carcharodontosaurus exploits that delay. Another bite and another wound appears on the body of Spinosaurus. Carcharodontosaurus does not need to end the hunt immediately. It only needs to weaken its opponent over time. This is a completely different strategy from what Spinosaurus is used to. In water, Spinosaurus can finish its prey quickly. On land, it is drawn into a prolonged battle. And in such a battle, the one that loses blood first will lose. Spinosaurus may be stronger in a direct collision, but it cannot maintain that advantage for long. Its heavy body begins to become a burden. Every movement slows down, and every reaction becomes delayed by a fraction of a second. Meanwhile, Carcharodontosaurus maintains a safe distance. It does not rush, does not take reckless risks, but simply waits until its opponent can no longer resist. This is not just a battle of strength, but a battle of biological design. One is built to control water, the other is born to dominate land. And when that boundary is broken, the outcome is almost already decided. Spinosaurus is not weak, but it is in the wrong place. According to analysis, Carcharodontosaurus may take only 30 seconds to 1 minute to kill Spinosaurus if it strikes a major blood vessel of its prey. Yet even without massive predators like Sarcosuchus or Carcharodontosaurus, danger still exists in ways that Spinosaurus cannot control. Not every threat comes from giant predators. Sometimes what causes a predator to fail is exactly what it believes it can easily control. In the murky waters of ancient river systems where Spinosaurus moves with confidence, there exists a creature unlike any other prey. It is Onchopristis, a massive main course in the diet of Spinosaurus. At first glance, Onchopristis does not appear as impressive as other large creatures. It does not have enormous jaws nor an overwhelmingly massive body. Its length is about 13 feet, but it possesses a snout reaching up to 8 feet. The snout is long, flat, extending forward like a living saw. Along its edges are rows of sharp teeth arranged evenly like blades. This is not just a hunting tool, but a complete weapon. Spinosaurus approaches its prey in a familiar way. It moves slowly, controls the distance, and waits for the right moment to deliver a precise strike. In most cases, that is enough, but with Onchopristis, things do not unfold that way. When cornered or sensing danger, Onchopristis does not flee in panic, but instead delivers a sweeping strike with its entire snout, fast, sudden, and extremely precise. In water, where every movement is resisted, that strike can come before Spinosaurus completes its bite. If the sweep hits the head or neck of Spinosaurus, it does not only cause pain, but can create deep cuts, enough to tear tissue and cause immediate bleeding. Spinosaurus may still win. It may still take down its prey, but it has already paid a price for that victory. Fossil evidence shows traces of injuries on the bones of Spinosaurus, and some hypotheses suggest that these wounds may have come from prey such as Onchopristis. This completely changes how science views the hunting process. It is no longer a one-sided act, but an exchange of risk. Each time Spinosaurus attacks, it does not only calculate its chance of success, but must also face the possibility of injury. And in nature, a small wound can become a much larger problem, such as infection, blood loss, or reduced hunting ability. A single small mistake in one hunt can trigger a chain of failures afterward. The most frightening aspect is not whether Onchopristis can kill Spinosaurus, but that it can weaken the predator, enough for another threat to finish what remains. A deep wound can reduce the speed of Spinosaurus. A slightly delayed reaction can prevent it from evading danger. And in an environment where creatures like Sarcosuchus always exist, that is more than enough to become a disaster. Spinosaurus does not fear its prey in the way you might think, but it cannot underestimate them, because in this ancient world, nothing is absolutely safe. Moreover, sometimes what causes Spinosaurus to fail is not a stronger enemy, but a hunt that lasts too long in a world that does not allow mistakes. In the world of Spinosaurus, there are creatures that are not dangerous because they are stronger, but because they cannot be finished quickly. And that is where Mawsonia appears. At first glance, Mawsonia does not seem like a threat. It does not have sharp teeth like other predators, nor does it possess explosive speed for sudden attacks. But those very traits make it one of the most troublesome opponents that Spinosaurus can encounter. Mawsonia could reach 13 to 20 feet in length, a massive, thick, and extremely solid body, almost like a block of flesh wrapped in natural armor. Its tissues and bone structure are not easily penetrated like those of smaller fish. That means a normal bite is not enough to end the hunt. When Spinosaurus approaches, everything begins like other hunts. It observes, adjusts its position, and delivers a highly precise strike. But this time, the prey does not collapse. Mawsonia responds not with speed, but with mass. It thrashes violently, twisting its body in the water, creating powerful impacts. The surrounding water becomes chaotic and visibility drops to nearly zero. Spinosaurus no longer fully controls the situation. Each subsequent bite becomes less accurate, and every movement consumes more energy. This is no longer a quick attack but a struggle, and in a prolonged hunt, time becomes the most dangerous factor. The longer it takes to bring down the prey, the more risk Spinosaurus must face. Oxygen gradually decreases as it must stay submerged longer. Energy is rapidly depleted with every movement. And most importantly, the surrounding environment begins to change. The vibrations in the water created by Mawsonia spread outward. Another predator like Sarcosuchus can sense them. Upon detecting an opportunity, Sarcosuchus moves closer to the source of the signal. At this moment, Spinosaurus is still struggling with Mawsonia, unaware that the hunt has lasted too long. That is the mistake. Mawsonia does not need to win this encounter by killing Spinosaurus. It only needs to prolong the struggle long enough to turn the situation into something far more dangerous. In nature, there are creatures that do not kill Spinosaurus directly, but place it into conditions where death becomes unavoidable. Mawsonia is exactly that kind of creature. It is prey to Spinosaurus, but not easy prey. It forces the predator to expend more energy, take greater risks, and remain in a dangerous zone longer than necessary. Spinosaurus may be stronger and may win in a direct confrontation. But that victory is never free. It always comes with risk. When every factor can become a threat to Spinosaurus, modern science begins to realize that this is not a story about a ruler. Many of us may think that in an ancient world filled with giant creatures, there must be one that stands above all. A being stronger, faster, and more dangerous than everything around it. But the truth is entirely different. In the ecosystem where Spinosaurus existed, there is no concept of an absolute ruler. Every creature is strong under specific conditions and becomes weak the moment those conditions change. Spinosaurus may be a nightmare in shallow waters where it can control movement, approach prey, and deliver precise attacks. But when it enters deeper water where visibility drops and reaction is limited, that advantage begins to disappear. There, predators like Sarcosuchus become the real threat. A predator that does not need to move much, only to wait for the right moment and deliver a sudden strike that can reverse the entire situation. Once it leaves the water, the story changes again. On land where there is no water to slow movement or conceal actions, everything becomes clearer and more dangerous. There, predators like Carcharodontosaurus dominate. They are faster, more agile, and fully adapted for hunting on land. Spinosaurus is no longer in control but forced to react. And in a confrontation where it must react instead of act, it is already at a disadvantage. Even without large predators appearing, danger still exists in other forms. A prey like Onchopristis can inflict serious injuries. A creature like Mawsonia can prolong a hunt. Every small factor in this ecosystem plays a role. Nothing is random or meaningless. Every creature of the Cretaceous contributes to a fragile balance. Spinosaurus may terrify an entire ecosystem, but it can also become a victim if just one small condition changes. So can you imagine what would happen if Spinosaurus had never gone extinct? Imagine that you are standing beside a modern river. Not in the past, not in a vanished world. The water before you is calm, reflecting the sky like a perfect mirror. There is no sign of danger and no unusual sound. But if Spinosaurus still existed, that silence would become the most terrifying thing of all. A creature over 56 feet long does not need to make noise to be dangerous. It does not need to appear often, only at the right moment. In the modern world, humans are accustomed to controlling their surroundings. We build cities, regulate water flow, and believe that we stand at the top of the food chain. But a creature like Spinosaurus would completely shatter that illusion. It does not hunt in a way you can predict. Spinosaurus does not appear on roads or in open forests. It hides beneath large rivers, swamps, or places where visibility is limited and human reactions become slower. If you were on a small boat, you would not hear Spinosaurus approaching. There are no footsteps or roars, only a prolonged silence until the water suddenly erupts. A single strike from below by Spinosaurus is enough to overturn a boat. It does not need to attack directly, only to break the balance. And once you fall into the water, everything is already over. Humans are not designed to react in this environment. In water, we cannot move quickly, cannot see clearly, and cannot resist a pulling force from below. Spinosaurus does not need to hunt humans frequently to become a threat. Just a few appearances are enough to change how humans perceive the entire environment around them. Rivers would no longer be safe sources of life. Traveling across water would become a real risk, and places once familiar would turn unfamiliar. But what is even more frightening is not just that Spinosaurus exists, but that it would not exist alone. If an ecosystem is large enough to sustain Spinosaurus, it is also large enough to sustain other creatures. Ambush predators beneath the water like Sarcosuchus would turn rivers into zones of constant danger. Large fish and powerful defensive species would make every hunt a gamble. This would no longer be a world where humans stand at the top, but one where humans become part of the food chain. You can avoid a predator if you see it. You can run if you hear it approaching. But with Spinosaurus, you have neither of those chances. You would not know where Spinosaurus is, whether it is near or far, and you would not know if the next moment will be your last. In such a world, fear does not come from what you see, but from what you cannot see. And that is exactly why if Spinosaurus still existed today, it would not only be a terrifying creature, but something that would force humanity to relearn how to survive from the beginning. Spinosaurus was once considered one of the most powerful predators ever to exist on Earth. A massive hunter capable of moving between two worlds where water and land intersect. But what truly makes Spinosaurus terrifying is not its strength, but the environment it is forced to exist in. A world where every advantage has limits, and every mistake comes at a cost. Beneath the deep water, Sarcosuchus waits in silence, needing little movement but always ready to end everything in a single moment. On land, Carcharodontosaurus moves faster, more precisely, and never gives its opponent a second chance. Even prey such as Onchopristis or Mawsonia are enough to turn a hunt into a dangerous gamble. In that world, there is no undefeated creature, no position that is absolutely safe, and no being that can control everything. Spinosaurus is not a king in the way we imagine, but only a part of an ecosystem always ready to reverse the roles between predator and prey. Strength in nature has never been absolute. It always depends on timing, position, and the surrounding environment. And perhaps the most remarkable thing is not how powerful Spinosaurus was, but that it could still be defeated. When even such a creature is not safe, then nothing in nature is ever certain. If you want to continue exploring the most terrifying mysteries that ever existed, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because next time, the story may no longer be about prehistory, but about what still exists around you.